Welcome back to Afternoon Live. On May 30th, 1948, the city of Vanport was destroyed by a flood, displacing thousands of people. Here to share why it's important to keep the memory alive and ways you can help, we welcome Vanport Mosaic member and outreach coordinator, Laveta Gilmore Jones. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, Hannah.
Tell me about your personal family connection to Vanport.
Well, my family connection to Vanport was in 1944. My grandfather and my grandmother came to Vanport along with my mom, my aunt, and my uncle. And my grandparents came to work in the Vanport, in the shipyards, in the Kaiser shipyards. And my mom, uncle, and aunt, you know, just had fun being kids, going to school, playing in the Vanport band, and making lifelong friends.
Do you find that a lot of people locally, either lifelong residents or transplants who have just come to the Pacific Northwest, don't know much about the Vanport story?
That is true. A lot, you know, especially, and even the kids who have lived here all of their lives don't know about it because it's not taught in school, which I think is something that we at Vanport Mosaic are trying to bring forth. The Vanport Mosaic, we are a memory activism organization, and we amplify and honor and preserve the lived memories and the experiences of people who lived in Vanport. And so, that looks good. And so, and we do this with the people who lived in Vanport. We don't do it about them, but we do it with them so that we can create a collective memory and learn from those memories, and then from that we can move on to create a world where everyone belongs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The flood itself was obviously so devastating. Many people lost their lives and the entire town was wiped out. But when you keep going forward in time, it just had such huge implications on how that part of the city wasn't really rebuilt again, and all those people had to figure something out.
Yeah, you know, when the flood happened on May the 30th, 1948, 77 years ago, the residents were told that the dikes were safe, and they were safe, but there was a railroad berm on the west side of the city that was not intended to hold water back. And that's what gave way. And within 45 minutes, the city was underwater, and within 2 hours, it was flooded. And Portland was not ready for the there were about 18,500 people who lived in Vanport at the time. Of that number, around 7,000 were African American people. And Portland was a city that had de facto segregation, and it was the 40s and 50s, so the country was still under segregation laws. And so the experiment that happened in Vanport, people lived in segregated housing, but everything else was integrated. And so when everyone was washed into Portland, Portland had to change. It had to change in order to absorb and to grow and to become a thriving city. Now, the interesting thing, though, is that the mayor of Portland in 1961, the city council of Portland, they did not want to remember Vanport. And so they had an ordinance that renamed that whole area where Delta Park is, where PIR is, where part of the Heron Lakes golf course and a flood mitigation zone. They renamed it. They said it's no longer called Vanport, it's called Delta Park. And that was an attempt to erase the suffering and the memory, which I find odd because here you had a workforce of people who built over half of the ships for World War II. Why wouldn't we want to honor that? Why wouldn't we want to honor that? So
tell me about the Mosaic, because it's been going on for 10 years now. What a
I
special
know, we're
legacy.
Celebrating. It started in 2015. We are a grassroots organization, and it started with just collecting the oral stories with the people who lived in Vanport. And now it's, like I said, it's a memory activism I'm going to read my notes here so
Okay.
I make sure I cover what I want to say. It's a memory activism platform. And there are many, many intersecting stories in the history of Vanport. And so the festival gives people a chance to experience those stories, hear them, and make connections. And we do this through walks, exhibits, screenings, and performances. And this is the second week of the festival now.
Right.
And this week there's some features. There will be the music of Vanport will be shared. There will be a reading about Black life and aging in Portland. And then it's going to culminate on Saturday and Sunday at the Expo Center. And on Saturday, we are going to have commemorate the anniversary of the flood with guided tours, exhibits, performances, and the City of Portland's official proclamation of Vanport Day of Remembrance with Mayor Keith. And then on June 1st, from 3 to 5, the focus will shift to honoring the Japanese Americans who were incarcerated and at the Portland Assembly Center. And this day is called We Are Still Here. And it's a collaborative performance with Chisao Hata and the Resonance Ensemble. And it will have oral histories, poetry, archival materials, and choral music. And it will also have the voices of the youth.
Oh, wonderful.
Who are also represented in this piece and remind us why it's important to remember.
Yes,
Yeah.
that memory is so important. Thank you so much for being here and sharing with us today.
Yes.
So great chatting with you. We're going to have all this information as well. The festival events are running through this weekend. We'll have all the information about Vanport Mosaic Festival on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.